Good morning. Welcome to Jaipur National University. My name is Atendra Sharma, and today we'll be studying about basic hygiene and HACCP. HACCP, HACCP. So, in our everyday life and at our workplaces, we notice a lot of things which are related to hygiene, safety, food, and many other things which we come across during our work and our personal lives. What is the importance of these two things? Why is hygiene so important to us? And why is it so important in hospitality industry, first of all? So we will be learning about these few concepts in this semester. And today's lecture is all about the introduction which we're going to do today. Let me start by showing you a small video.
Unless you're watching this before the 1850s, you know about germs. If you are watching this before the 1850s, this will all be new to you. At least you've got the invention of the TV to look forward to. Oh, and say hi to Louis Pasto for me. Anyway, germs are microorganisms that live all around us. They're impossible to detect without technology, but they can make us very sick. Hardly seems fair, does it? And they're not just in the obvious places, like pub toilets or behind a scruffy teenager's ears. In fact, research has shown there are around 200 times more fecal bacteria on the average kitchen cutting board than on a toilet seat. Hashtag blur, sick face emoji. No one's putting fecal bacteria there on purpose, we hope. They obviously spread easily without us even realising. And besides it being gross, the consequences are deadly serious. It makes sense then that there are a lot of guidelines when it comes to food safety. And because you work in an environment that has food, you need to know them and follow them. Yep, even if you don't handle the food yourself, you're still legally required to guarantee safe food to customers. You don't want old Johnny Law after you, do you? Didn't think so. Luckily, we're here to help you. Here's the menu for this evening. Your amuse-bouche. This course is going to run you through the common hazards within food safety. For the starter, it'll help you determine your role in the process of keeping food and people safe. The main course. We'll look at some good hygiene practices and some not so good ones. This includes personal hygiene as well as how and when to report illness. For dessert, you'll learn about safe storage, cross-contamination and temperature control, as well as keeping your work area clean and pest-free. How about a digestif? A quick roundup and quiz? Have we got your mouth watering? Let's dig in.
So as you saw in the video, we were just talking about our daily life routines and how germs spread all across. They're not just there in our toilets or dirty places, they probably are there in our kitchen as well. So why are they there? And if they are there, what should we do about it? If we are surrounded by microorganisms which are not visible to our eyes, then how can we control them? Because we all understand the consequences of getting contacted or contaminated by a microorganism or virus are very dangerous. As we are all aware about the COVID-19 situation, there are rumors that it came from a fish market and the source is still unknown, but you can understand the depth of the scenario now. So basic food and safety and our hygiene plays a very vital role in our day-to-day lives. When you talk about professional world, if a customer is paying you money for a service, then they expect you to deliver top-notch service. And this is what we're basically going to study in this subject. Now coming to the next, Unit 1. Unit 1 is all about food hygiene. Food has a wide range of options available. It can be a cold food, it can be a hot food, it can be a blend, it can be a wet food, dry food, fruits, foods, spices, so many other things are there in this option. So when you talk about food hygiene, how do you preserve a food, how do you eat a food, how do you serve a food, are the few simple things which are included into this unit. We'll understand what hygiene basically is, what are the general principles of food and hygiene, what is personal hygiene. So it's not necessarily I just have to take care of the food which is around me. I probably have to take care of myself as well, because I can be the source of contamination. I can carry that contamination from outside and inflict it inside the food and deliver it to the customer who's eating it. Then the concept of HACCP and recycling and the importance of quality audit. We all understand how to do things right, but do we do things right? and who's there to make sure that these things are done correctly. So this is where the quality audit comes in place. Now, let's take a look at a small video on Hassip.
Welcome to Hassip Training by IQ Kitchen. HACCP stands for Hazard Analysis and Critical Control Point. HACCP is an internationally recognized preventative system for assuring food safety. The most basic concept underlying HACCP is that of prevention. A hazard analysis is a science-based and systematic process to identify possible dangers to health. A critical control point is a point, step, or procedure at which control can be applied and a food safety hazard can be prevented, eliminated, or reduced to acceptable levels. HACCP is designed for use in the entire food industry, from growing, processing, manufacturing, distributing, and retailing food for consumption. HACCP is important in order to prevent foodborne illness, but also to reduce recalls and help companies save money. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention estimates that 48 million people get sick due to one or another of 31 pathogens. About 128,000 people end up in the hospital, while 3,000 die annually. Between 1998 and 2008, 7,757 foodborne disease outbreaks were tracked. Poultry accounts for 19% of deaths due to foodborne illness related to Listeria and Salmonella. A 2014 estimate from the Department of Agriculture placed the direct and indirect costs associated with illnesses caused by major foodborne pathogens at $15.6 billion per year. In 2012, the Grocery Manufacturers Association, GMA, and the Food Marketing Institute estimated that the average cost for a food recall in the United States was $10 million. Presently, the FDA gets involved in about 700 food-related recalls per year. HACCP was developed in the late 1950s by the Pillsbury Company, the Natick Research Laboratories, and NASA. They built a quality system to ensure food safety for the space program. In 1974, FDA incorporated HACCP in the regulations due to outbreaks of Clostridium botulinum in canned food. In 1993, the Codex Alimentarius Commission provided the first international definition for HACCP. And in 2000, ISO 22000 was developed with major contributions to food safety management systems. HACCP has become a global standard for food safety. A HACCP system requires that potential hazards are identified and controlled at specific points in the process. This includes biological, chemical, or physical hazards. Any company can use HACCP to minimize or eliminate food safety hazards in their product. HACCP is based on 7 principles. Principle 1. Conduct a hazard analysis. The application of this principle involves listing the steps in the process and identifying where significant hazards are likely to occur. Principle 2. Identify the critical control points. A critical control point, CCP, is a point, step, or procedure at which control can be applied and a food safety hazard can be prevented, eliminated, or reduced to acceptable levels. Principle 3. Establish critical limits. A critical limit, CL, is the maximum and/or minimum value to which a biological, chemical, or physical parameter must be controlled at a CCP to prevent, eliminate, or reduce to an acceptable level the occurrence of a food safety hazard. Principle 4. Monitor CCP. The HACCP team will describe monitoring procedures for the measurement of the critical limit at each critical control point. Principle 5. Establish corrective action. Corrective actions are the procedures that are followed when a deviation in a critical limit occurs. Also, an investigation must be conducted to determine what caused the deviation and how to prevent recurrence. Principle 6. Verification. Those activities other than monitoring that determine the validity of the HACCP plan and that the system is operating according to the plan. Principle 7. Documentation. A key component of the HACCP plan is recording information that can be used to prove that the food was produced safely. The HACCP system must be built upon a solid foundation of prerequisite programs such as good manufacturing practices, GMPs, and standard operating procedures. They provide the basic environmental and operating conditions that are necessary for the production of safe, wholesome food. These are some examples for GMPs and SOPs. All prerequisite programs should be documented and regularly audited. The development of a HACCP plan is a logical step-by-step process. The 5 preliminary tasks need to be accomplished before the application of the HACCP principles to a specific product and the process are: 1. Assemble the HACCP team. Individuals from areas such as engineering, production, sanitation, quality assurance, and food microbiology who have a working knowledge of the various processing steps and operations in the facility who will be responsible for the HACCP plan. 2. Identify products, foods, processes that must be covered by the HACCP plan. Next, the HACCP team should write a categorization of the types of potentially hazardous foods that are covered. 3. Develop a list of ingredients, materials, equipment, and recipes formulations. Review everything that shows methods and control measures that address the food safety concerns involved. 4. Develop a process flow diagram. The HACCP team will draw a flow diagram that shows all the steps in the production process from receiving through shipping. 5. Verify the process flow diagram. The HACCP team can do this by having an impartial person do a walkthrough of the entire production process, checking to see if there is anything missing from the diagram.
In the video, we realized that HACCP is basically hazard analysis critical control point. So everything has a range where it is fit for consumption or unfit for consumption. In this is the range which is defined for food and other consumable items as well, considering the process. So for HACCP, hazard analysis control point is very important to us. Reason being, we are in the hospitality business and it is important for us to deliver the best possible services which we can in the best possible way, making sure the safety and the quality of product which we are delivering. Coming to the third unit, food safety in kitchen. Food safety in kitchen is important because this is the area where the food is produced and stored. In this chapter, we will study about how the kitchen should be designed, how the facilities should be installed, what are the different temperatures at which various foods are stored, what is the preparation method and how long does it take for the food to get contaminated under normal conditions, what are the equipments and cleanliness methods which we should utilize for maintaining the hygiene and other aspects of giving good quality food to the customer, waste management, and what is the impact of food poisoning. As in the last video, we realized that every 1 in 6 person is suffering from food poisoning, and over 3,000 deaths alone happened because of food poisoning in the United States. Coming to the unit 4, we will be studying about hygiene in service department. Service department means where the food is being served to the customer, usually restaurants. In this chapter, we will study about what are the various layouts which can be done in a restaurant, what are the various facilities, installations done to make sure that the cleanliness and hygiene is maintained, what are the control of operations if in case there is an accident, how do you cover it up within the stipulated time, what are the various sanitary processes and do's and don'ts of while handling the process. There's a small video where a restaurant owner is describing why is it important for us to maintain hygiene in a restaurant.
In the restaurant business, we make food and serve food and beverage that ends up being ingested by people and becomes part of their bodies. This is an incredible responsibility that has serious consequences if it's not monitored constantly. It is imperative that every restaurant professional understand all of the details of food safety, especially people who are working in a kitchen, but it's true of everyone on the staff. It is vital that you learn about food safety and health department compliance in any way that you can, through training, through websites, through research, and follow all of the steps that are required for proper food handling and preparation. It's also vital that as a manager in a restaurant, whether you're in the kitchen or in the dining room, that you constantly monitor the behavior of your staff, the cleanliness of your physical plant, and the correctness of all of your refrigeration, your food storage methods, the expiration dates on containers, the cleanliness of all storage areas, the fact that you have hand sinks that are properly stocked with towels and soap, that there are not leaks that are creating standing water, that the restaurant is appropriately and frequently visited by an exterminator. All of this is a way that you can look every day to make sure that your restaurant is a safe place to enjoy great food. Monitoring food safety is a very, very important part of the role of any restaurant manager. Knowing what is required and checking it every day is a very important discipline for the restaurant business.
So in this video, we learned about the importance of maintaining the food and hygiene in a restaurant and how it affects not only your business but also the experience of a customer. Now, coming to the last unit, we will be studying about the importance of hygiene in the hotel, the whole property itself, hygiene in housekeeping. Housekeeping department is responsible for maintaining the cleanliness and the maintenance of the building, property, the equipments, the furnitures, and throughout the property. We will understand we will understand how is food safety interlinked with housekeeping department in the property, what are the design and facilities and the equipments used inside the hotels by the housekeeping department, how do they conduct pest control and rodent control in order to maintain the hygiene standards in the hotel. There's a small video of a hotel company trying to showcase their hygiene and housekeeping practices.
COVID-19 has fundamentally changed the way we live and redefined the rules of travel. At Radisson Hotels, health, safety, and security worldwide is one of our top priorities. That's why we have thoroughly reviewed all processes and enhanced our procedures, creating an in-depth cleanliness and disinfection safety protocol in partnership with a worldwide leader in health and safety, SGS, to ensure guests' confidence and peace of mind from check-in to check-out. To meet new health and safety challenges, our guidelines include increasing cleaning and disinfection frequency, paying special attention to high-touch points, providing hand sanitizing stations throughout the hotel, using personal protective equipment and protective screens, implementing social distancing measures in public areas, respecting strict food safety procedures, and providing options for contactless, cashless methods of payment to minimize contact. Our safety protocol will be adapted to local requirements and recommendations. Because at Radisson Hotels, we know that even in this new era of travel, in the end, hospitality is about taking care of those around us. Every day, everywhere, every time.
So in the last video we realized that how Radisson is trying to implement new strategies and housekeeping practices to maintain their hygiene standards and stay in the competitive race of providing best hospitality services in the market. In this whole chapter, we will be studying and discussing these few small practices, how to keep food, how to keep the place hygienic, how to keep the whole area under control where it is more consumable and make the whole experience a happy place for the customer. This is all we will be studying in this semester, and we will be interacting a lot with the hospitality experts over these topics and what are the current practices and trends going on. We will also have a range of assignments and practicals to make sure that you understand the concept properly. Stay tuned for more updates. My name is Aten Sharma, and we'll stay in touch for further lectures. Thank you.